Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Wednesday. Good morning, America. And this morning on Good Morning America, we're going to celebrate the one and only Dolly Parton, one of 12 children. She was someone who, in her own words, went from rags to rhinestones, growing up in her beloved Smoky Mountains of Tennessee, going on to sell more than 100 million records across the globe, providing children with more than 300 million books through her Imagination Library.
And so many honoring the Queen of Country, from Dollywood to the Empire State Building, lit up in pink at exactly 9:25 last night, a nod to Dolly's hit song in the film 9 to 5. Dolly's co-star Jane Fonda was just one of many to pay tribute, along with Dolly's Steel Magnolias co-star Sally Field, Carol Burnett, Goldie Hawn, and so many other friends.
The list goes on
Yes.
and on and on, and flags have been ordered to fly at half-staff around the country for Dolly, who won 10 Grammy Awards, 25 #1 hits, but beyond her music, exceptional in every way imaginable. And this morning, we're learning more about her final days. And while her legacy will live on, there will only ever be one Dolly Parton.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living, barely getting by. It's all taking and no giving.
In her 6 decades in show business, many trends would come and go, but Dolly Parton never went out of fashion.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
Overnight, Dolly's team announcing the heartbreaking news that the superstar passed away at age 80 after bravely facing a brief battle with cancer, adding, Dolly departed her earthly life today at the Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center, surrounded by loved ones. Her nephew speaking on behalf of her family.
She never saw a door she couldn't open, and the doors she opened made and changed history. My family and I have shared a lifetime of beautiful memories with Dolly, but so have you.
Here you come again.
Dolly sparkled as bright as the rhinestones on her dresses. The painting of her life began in 1946 with a coat of not many colors. She was born into poverty in East Tennessee, baby number 4 of 12. Music was the blood of the Parton family. A mom who sang, and her siblings also involved in music, including the family band.
We grew our own food and had our own animals, so we started wearing sack dresses long before the sacks were fashionable, long before like Dion von Furstenberg and those people started doing that.
True.
My mama was the first designer I knew, but she just would make things for us out of whatever we had, out of the scraps, and that's where my little coat of many colors came from.
Mama sewed the rags,
But Dolly's classmates made fun of her because of her homemade patchwork coat.
my coat of many colors that I was so proud of.
She'd go on to write about that experience in her 1971 hit, Coat of Many Colors, a favorite of hers. Dolly first sang in the church, and by 10 years old, she was performing on the Cass Walker Show in Knoxville.
You know, when I was standing on that stage as a little girl on the Cass Walker Show, and everybody started applauding. When I heard that was just like a shot of adrenaline.
She was hooked. At 13, her first performance at the Grand Ole Opry. The day after she graduated high school, she headed to the bright lights of Nashville, where she met her husband Carl Dean at a laundromat. They were together 59 years. Her first country hit came in 1967, the title, Dumb Blonde.
Just because I'm blonde, don't think I'm dumb, 'cause this dumb blonde ain't nobody's fool.
She quickly showed him that the only thing true about that song was the blonde, penning and singing the iconic Jolene in 1973.
Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just because you can.
A tune she said she wrote in 5 minutes after she witnessed a bank teller flirting with her beloved Carl Dean.
I cannot compete with you, Jolene.
Just a year later came this little ditty.
And I will always love you.
Let's welcome back now to our Grand Ole Opry show the pretty little gal with another one of her songs, I'll Always Love You, Dolly Parton.
A farewell song initially written to her mentor, Porter Wagoner, after she decided to break off on her own. The song went to #1 twice, first in 1974, and then 20 years later, after Kevin Costner went hunting for a song for his Bodyguard soundtrack. Dolly recalled hearing that version of the song for the first time driving in her car.
When it went into with the music part where she said, and I honestly thought I was going to have a heart attack. It was one of the most overwhelming things. People say, well, that's Whitney's song. I said, that's fine. You can give her the credit. I just want the cash. It's just one of those simple little songs that says nothing and yet everything.
In the immediate aftermath of the Bodyguard's opening, Dolly had collected $10 million in royalties just from retaining her publishing rights. Hollywood didn't just want her music, they also wanted her.
The thing that people said, you got to change your image. You have got to change your image. And I said, I ain't going to change my image. I'm going to make a fortune out of it.
Soon she was starring in major films like 9 to 5, alongside Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, giving her a chance to stick it to the man.
It gives you some sort of cheap thrill, like knocking over pencils and picking up papers.
And come out of it with a #1 hit.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
In Still Magnolias, she played a hairdresser with a heart of gold.
This is my favorite part. This is the romantic part.
She would collaborate with Kenny Rogers for the iconic duet, Islands in the Stream.
Islands in the stream, that is what we are. No one in between. How can we be wrong?
Be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I figure if I'm going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'm going to have to earn it.
And receive an honorary Oscar at age 79.
To receive this, I mean, that's a blessing of a lifetime.
Never without her signature makeup, nails, and big blonde bouffant.
Well, you already have like 25 #1 hits, 100 million albums sold, so what's a few more to add to that?
It's always good.
There's always room.
My favorite joke, I need the money. It costs a lot to make a person look this cheap. I say, it's not really a joke, though. It's the biggest truth I ever told.
Her famous self-deprecation masked an astute businesswoman who owned restaurants, truck stops, even her very own amusement park, Dollywood. She gave much of her fortune to charities like her Imagination Library.
I think I can, she said.
Mailing more than 300 million books to children. Last year, Dolly announced she had been dealing with complications from kidney stones. But in typical Dolly fashion, she rallied in June, in what would be one of her final appearances for her fans.
Well, how's everybody doing today out in that hot, boiling sun?
Early this summer, she sent word that she wouldn't be able to attend the opening of the newest coaster at Dollywood.
So my national doctor has kind of clipped my wings, saying, you ain't traveling this week. So I guess if your doctor tells you you ain't traveling this week, you ain't traveling this week.
Just like her songs, we thought she'd go on forever.
Dolly, I will always love you. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Dolly Parton was 80 years old.
And Dolly was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, received an honorary Oscar at age 79. That meant so much to her.
Yeah.
She gave much of her fortune to charities like her Imagination Library, mailing more than 300 million books to children. And last year, Dolly announced she had been dealing with complications from kidney stones. But in typical Dolly fashion, she rallied in June in what would be her final appearance for her fans, 80 years old.
Her generosity, her heart, her sense of humor, too, just simply unmatched.
I know.
I know you had the pleasure of speaking with her a number of times.
And you asked me earlier, you said, how many times did you interview her? I said, we always had conversations. I haven't felt like I interviewed her. It was always a conversation, and you just walked away with the biggest smile and a full heart.
Yeah, one special moment after another.
The loss of Dolly being felt so many places all around the world, but especially in her home state of Tennessee. Will Reeve is in Pigeon Forge for us this morning outside of Dollywood, where so many fans are paying their respects. Good morning, Will.
That's right, Robin. Good morning. And that was such a lovely tribute to Dolly. And there are many tributes pouring in here in Pigeon Forge and just miles up the road where Dolly was born, and here at Dollywood, the place synonymous with Dolly Parton. It's her amusement park where she held the title of Dreamer in Chief, and over 3 million people each year visit Dollywood. Undoubtedly, many more will be coming here in the days and weeks and months ahead to pay their respects to the woman who became an icon in these parts here. And with all of its attractions, they say that Pigeon Forge is like someone flipped over a giant toy box. Well, here around Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, up the road in Sevierville where she was born, it's like someone flipped over a giant flower truck. People laying flowers at various places around this region for Dolly, and surely more of that will continue as people continue to pay their respects to the one and only Dolly Parton. She is an icon around the world, but this is what she called home. And Robin, I fondly remember 5 years ago getting to be here at Dollywood with you and with Dolly for GMA, and I had the privilege to speak to Dolly, and I asked her how she might want to be remembered and what message she might have for people who look up to her. And she told me she wanted people to be their better selves, religious or not, to try to draw on that higher wisdom, to try to make things a little better. And she told me, I'd just like to kind of bring a little sunshine if I can, and for as long as anyone can remember, that is what Dolly Parton did in so many ways, guys.
She brought the sunshine, but she often talked about her upbringing and what a strong foundation it was for her, Will. And yes, I do remember us being there. It was right after the pandemic. It had reopened Dollywood, and to be there with her and with you was always so special. And we're going to have much more on Dolly, thank you, Will, throughout the morning, from her incredible life of philanthropy and positive impact to her many visits to GMA over the years. Oh, we loved when she would come by. There are some really special moments that we're looking forward to sharing with you.
She could light up a room and especially a studio right here, so we'll share more in just a moment. But we do want to turn now to some of our other top stories here, including the extreme heat with soaring temperatures in the west and south, fueling the wildfire danger. Ginger tracking all of that for us.
Yeah, and there are dozens of wildfires burning from Texas all the way up through British Columbia. So the west is burning, and we've got one, the Ross Fire, in the last 2 days, less than 2 days, that's burned more than 80,000 acres. And you say, well, how big is that? That's like Manhattan, 5+ of the Manhattan land burning. And so it's huge amounts. This is west of Fort Worth by about an hour and a half. Evacuations are still up. They've got containment at 12%. There's also red flag warnings from Ventura County through the end of the week down to the western San Gabriels. That is in part because of this hot and unstable air mass in those foothills in Southern California. You go up to 100 in Los Angeles. It's even hotter when you get up into the areas. That will create some winds. And so we'll see more of those daily records possible, Robin, all the way through Albuquerque throughout this week.
All right there, Ginger. Thank you. Now to President Trump's trade war with Canada. It is intensifying as Canada retaliates against the U.S. with tariffs on up to 50% on hundreds of American products. Senior political correspondent Rachel Scott is tracking the latest from the White House. Good morning, Rachel.
Robin, good morning to you. And there are mounting concerns that all of this can spiral. This morning, more than 700 American products are facing 50% tariffs in response to President Trump imposing tariffs on Canada first. Now, let's talk about what this is going to impact. We're talking about aluminum, furniture, clothing. All of these tariffs set to go into effect on September 8th. We've talked to many small businesses across the country. They say the reality is that prices are going to go up for consumers once they go into effect. Now, the president is accusing Canada of ripping off the U.S. Canada's accusing the U.S. of making these last-minute demands in these negotiations, and President Trump somewhat acknowledged that he actually did. Canadian leaders have called the president a dictator. They're calling him a bully. President Trump responded by saying he wants to rename the Lake of Ontario to the Lake of America, something that he cannot force other nations to recognize. The reality, though, for so many Americans across the country is this. A new report shows that with all the president's tariffs that he's imposed, American families are paying more than $1,000 a year with.
Yes, it is definitely having an impact. Rachel Scott Forrest, thank you for that. Now to the Trump administration threatening to tear down the Kennedy Center in the court battle over putting the president's name on the building. Jay O'Brien is at the Kennedy Center this morning with the latest. Jay, good morning.
Whit, good morning to you. In an extraordinary court filing, the Trump administration threatening that it could tear down the iconic Kennedy Center unless a judge greenlights the president's planned renovations and lets him put his name on the building. Lawyers for the Justice Department calling this iconic venue, in their words, quote, dangerously dilapidated and decrepit, and arguing that without Trump stepping in, the venue may need to be demolished and replaced with something like an outdoor amphitheater. That's despite the fact that Congress just last year appropriated more than $250 million for renovations to the Kennedy Center. Lawyers for Democratic Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, who's a member of the center's board, who brought this lawsuit, calling the president's threat here, quote, unconscionable. Remember, a judge ordered that Trump's handpicked board here at the Kennedy Center remove his name from the building in May. The board has now offered an alternative, saying it would leave John F. Kennedy's name up top and put below it the phrase renovated and restored by President Donald J. Trump. But ultimately, it's up to a judge as to whether it's up to the Congress, the judges said, whether this building's name should be removed. Robin.
Many find this unbelievable, Jay. All right, thank you. Now, the growing concern about measles following the first deaths from the disease in the U.S. this year. Elizabeth Schulze has the latest for us. Good morning to you, Elizabeth.
Good morning to you, Robin. And these are the first deaths from measles in the U.S. this year, and the first in Pennsylvania in 35 years. 2 unvaccinated residents from Lancaster County died. We don't know their ages. That county is the epicenter of one of 36 new measles outbreaks in the U.S. so far this year. There are now nearly 3,000 cases in 45 states plus D.C. That's already the most in any year since measles was declared eliminated back in 2000. Now, doctors say the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine is safe and effective. The CDC adding that it is the most effective protection and helps stop measles spread. But President Trump and Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. are casting doubt on the vaccine, calling to break it up into separate shots. And this all comes as millions of kids head back to school, with a record number of kindergartners now foregoing their routine shots, guys.
Okay, Elizabeth Schulze, thank you. Well, the competition this morning heating up in the Little League World Series, and the magical run continues for Kinley Rasmus and her Alabama team. Sam is tracking it all. What a wonderful story here, Sam.
It really is, and it's been so much fun for everybody to watch. Good morning, guys. They'll be fearing the bow, or the competition will be, in at least one more game. As Kinley and her team advance in the Little League World Series, she told us all about it.
She's there!
This morning, fear the bow. Alabama's Phoenix City rolling through the competition at the Little League World Series.
It felt so amazing, and I'm just so glad that we get to keep going, and that wasn't the end of this journey.
The 12-year-old flame-throwing pitcher and shortstop Kinley Rasmus making history in Tuesday's must-win game, breaking the record for the most hits by a girl in the tournament's history, and speaking with GMA right after.
And it felt great. I'm just so glad that I get the opportunity to do that.
All eyes have been on her since she wowed fans from the mound, earning 14 strikeouts already, tying the record Monet Davis set 12 years ago.
I heard she was really good, and I just wanted to be as good as her or even better in this tournament.
Fans cheering her on with that chant, "Fear the Bow," referencing the signature accessory she says helped her play better.
Well, I've always worn a bow my whole life, even out of sports. Based on the jersey, I wear whatever color matches it, I guess. My mom ties it the same every time. I just think it gives me a little bit more energy, a little bit more pep on the field.
Baseball talent is in Kinley's DNA. Her father, Corey, and uncle, Colby Rasmus, both played professionally in the majors.
They've taught me everything I know, and I couldn't be in this position without them. I think this whole journey on this whole tournament is going to be the greatest memory, or one of them, in my entire life.
If you're not watching, watch. Alabama's next game is tonight, but the series action begins on ESPN at 1 p.m. Eastern.
The signs in the stands, priceless.
So good. So good.
Thank you, Sam.